So the big question in 2026 is how, as a childcare provider, can I use AI and boost efficiency without having to hire more staff? You see all the big updates by companies like Google and OpenAI, but don't really know how to apply this to your own childcare program. So in this video, I'm going to cover one of the many ways that AI is now allowing childcare providers to reduce repetitive admin work, all without having to hire. I'm sure you're familiar with the CACFP program. It's a great way to advertise to the parents who are wishing to enroll their child into your program that you provide nutritious meals. But the main reason why it's good for you as an owner is because you're able to get reimbursed for the meals that you do provide. Who doesn't like getting a little bit extra income, right? Well, if the extra income starts to mean that you're tied to complicated software that you have to enter through multiple times a day, then reward doesn't really cover the labor and stress that you have to go through. So the traditional method is you serve the meal, you open your computer, you head into your software, you log in, then you go to the meal section, and then you go into the enter meal section, and then you select your menu, then you see what children were in attendance that day, and then save. Now, if you're doing this once a day, maybe it's tolerable, right? Maybe it's not that big of an issue, but a lot of providers, I'm sure most of you, are providing meals for maybe sometimes 5 times a day. That's breakfast, AM snack, lunch, PM snack, and dinner sometimes. So the good news is there's now an easier way to submit meal counts. Instead of pulling out our computer, we're going to pull out something that we have at all times and something that we're used to using all times as well, our phone. Stay until the end because I'm going to show you how you can implement this for free into your program. If you don't know who I am, my name is Angel Benavides, and I work closely with childcare providers, helping them implement practical time-saving tools into their program. So before I show you what it looks like when I input meals all from my phone with a couple clicks, I'm going to show you the current state of my software. I'm using KidKare, which is the #1 way that people are using CACFP and being able to track their meals. So I'm going to hit run for today's month. And as you can see, there's no data for this month. So that was just to show you that I am starting from completely new. Nothing has been tracked yet. So I'm going to add a screen recording of what I'm seeing on my phone. And as you can see, it looks like a messaging app, as if you're about to text a personal assistant to input some meal counts. But this is the menu for a specific childcare, and it's all going to be tailored to how you would implement this and build it out for your specific program. Let's say I want to submit a meal. I would hit meal submission, and let's say it's breakfast time. So I'm going to hit breakfast, and non-infant or an infant. This is important because the CACFP or any other food program is going to ask you for separation and kind of isolate what type of child was being given food. So let's say it's an infant, and I only want to select a specific infant. Let's say another infant was absent that day and only one came in. So I'm going to put only these children, and let's say only Jane Doe. I'm going to click on Jane Doe, and then I'm going to hit next, and then I'm going to get a confirmation just to make sure everything looks right. And it is for today's date. I'm going to hit submit, and then this is going to go into my KidKare. It's going to interact with KidKare and submit all the information as if I were to manually do that on the computer. So I'm going to hit done, and then let's head on over to our KidKare to see how it was able to interact with the website. So here we are on the same KidKare page that was shown a couple minutes earlier, and I'm going to hit run once again just to see how everything's synced up and aligned. I'm going to hit run, and then as you can see, we now have data on our official KidKare account. But if we take a little bit of a closer look, I'll go in here and I'll be able to see that only one child was being assigned this meal. So this is very important for reimbursement, for being compliant with your state sponsor. And during this video, I wanted to briefly touch on the how the system operates and just functions. So this is basically what the machine would look like. This is, if you can think about it as the brain of the whole operation, the whole system. So this is how it's able to understand your intention. It'll know, am I trying to sign in or out a kid, or maybe I'm trying to submit a meal. So if you see here, all these different blocks, you can kind of think of it as just a line of thinking and a bunch of different steps to come to your desired result. It's a very safe and efficient way to implement these new tools that are just coming out every day, it seems like. So there's never been a more exciting time for childcare providers when it comes to reducing admin work. But there's a lot of confusion out there when it comes to implementing them into a real program. The old way of clicking around on your computer and having to catch up on paperwork after hours can now be a thing of the past. If you'd like to implement this for free into your program, there's going to be a link down below where you can schedule a call with me. And in that call, we'll talk about different ways to save time and what it looks like for you specifically. Thanks for the watch. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.